Hey, good morning. Good morning. How's it going, everybody? Sorry, I'm a couple seconds late, but yeah, just trying to get here. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Anything I say is not indicative of any kind of future results. Presentation here, informational, educational fun, is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. If you desire that personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. And let's talk about it, shall we? So, yes, continuing indecision. A little doji coming into the open here. Looks like. So, had Friday slightly green. Today getting a little gap up, but just kind of not really deciding what to do as we come into the open. Now, one thing I want to talk about right here on Friday, we made this low. It was the lowest low we've had for several days. The market does not tend to make the lowest low for a week or for a couple weeks on a Friday. Highly likely that we will see a lower low either today or tomorrow. It's like 95% chance that we will see a lower low today or tomorrow. Now, tomorrow morning at 8:30, before the market opens, we have the new CPI print. Now, that can cause some chaos. We could come all the way down here, touch the roadmap line, and then bounce off of it. Or we could retest the purple trend line that we've had going for all of 2022, the bearish purple trend line. We could come back and retest that very quickly. One big candle, spike down there, reverse, and bounce out of here. So those are two things we're kind of watching for: the lower low and a spike reversal type situation. Now, if we get that push down today, then the CPI may just be bullish and we launch out of here. So that's kind of things to watch for coming up into the open tomorrow. NASDAQ a little closer to touching than ES. And then Russell, IWM, about halfway there, looks like. It may or may not come down. It already touched right back here. That's the kind of move we're looking for S&P to do. Make that little touch. And right here it pushed down through and came back up. And we're kind of below this trend line of the lows here. Just hanging right on it. We break down below that, we can push down quickly. So just keep an eye on that. That's kind of the trend line of the lows for the year so far. All right, moving on. Dollar just kind of hanging out right at that. Tried to push down, coming back up, just hanging out at that line. It may get a push up to the roadmap line, or it may push on down. So I have to see which way it's going here. And one that was hitting alerts for me this morning, LMT. I may get into a long trade on this because my target's up here. Been up here for a little while. So looking for LMT to get up into that 510 area at the minimum. Maybe 505 at the minimum. Ideally, right around that 510, 512, 515-ish area, right in the middle of that thing. And it could go as high as maybe like 535, but looking for a little more conservative target there around 510. Monday, this one announcing earnings this morning. Beat on the top, beat on the bottom. Looks like they made money when everybody was expecting them to lose money, so they're getting rewarded handily. Nice pop from 131 to 145. Of course, not above the peaks, the highs that it's had in the last couple weeks. So caution there, because we've got a high right there that we've got to deal with. But if we can get broken out above that stuff right there, back above 157-ish, Monday can turn the tides here. It didn't quite come down and touch the roadmap line, so we may get a higher push, and that roadmap line may come on over. Something like that before we meet it over here somewhere. All right. Now we've got, there's several places where it consolidated on the way up, so just be careful on Monday if you're trying to catch a breakout. It's got some stuff to work through. I mean, that's the long and the short of what I usually say. It's got some stuff to work through. So when you get these consolidation areas on the way down, that's places where you're going to find supply, people ready to jump back off, because that's where they've been sitting upside down for a long time. Another one moving, Baidu, getting a little pop here, pre-market. On what? I don't know. Maybe more of their AI hype. We'll see where it goes, but they've got that resistance, and they held it last week. Getting a pullback, did not come down, touch the roadmap line, so I don't know. I didn't jump into the news on that one or anything, so. Meta, getting a little pre-market pop, a couple bucks. Still stuck at that resistance, though. If I can get it wasn't able to hold above it last week. It tried really hard and then came back down. Left a big gap, so I kind of sort of expect it to come on down and fill this gap. Let's change my arrow back to the right. Color. Kind of expect that to happen there. Cold. This is a ultra short natural gas. Getting a little pop. Natural gas getting hit. LNG. They had a ship pull into the port for the first time since the explosion back in whatever it was, September, October, back in the fall. So they've got a ship in there and they're starting to hook it up. They don't have permission from the U.S. government to load it yet at full capacity, but it's coming. Like they could get that approval any day and be back in business. So LNG, watch that one. That can create a lot of demand for natural gas as we load it on ships and ship it away. Quite literally ship it away. Microsoft getting a little pop here, holding above that resistance zone right there that, it had a little trouble getting out of there. Holding above here is bullish, breaking above that where it tried to break out. Extremely bullish, but the next resistance up here around 295. That high that we had right up here where we gapped up to it and then gapped back down from it. So watch that zone right over there. Something right there for the next level of resistance above us for Microsoft. Next we'll move in RL. Nice little pop on RL. Looks like earnings this morning. Beating on the top, beating on the bottom, making tons of money per share for Ralph Lauren. It's a departure from a lot of the retail. The high-end retail is still moving some stuff. So Ralph Lauren obviously knows how to make some money in this environment. They've got resistance at these highs where it kind of double topped up here. So watch for it to find resistance right up here. If it can break out over that 130, we can get a bigger run higher. And you can see we topped out back here, right back up in there. It's got to get above that to go on any kind of run. We've been on a downtrend lately, kind of trying to reverse the fortune. See that move up, retrace back to the roadmap line, push away. Yeah, that one can keep on keeping on. So this move right here looks similar, almost exactly the same size. So we can see that same sort of move out of here. That's what I call a market echo. This same sort of move can take, if I get it lined up right, just roughly using arrows here, we can see a move up to about 140, 142 on Ralph Lauren, just based on that pullback. That pullback and that one the same size, get the same kind of extension out of there. And you see it made a move like that once before, twice before, why not 3 times? So these things tend to echo and rhyme. We'll see. All right, another mover. This one's probably going to fill that gap if it hadn't already. Yep, right at it. See the price right there, right at the top of the gap. It's got to get some continuation to keep going. Otherwise, it may reverse right back down. FIS getting smacked down. Probably going to make a lower low, it looks like. That was bearish. I mean, look. Held the roadmap line, pushed down. Held the roadmap line, pushing down. Be careful on that one if you're watching it. Norfolk Southern also, I mean, that looks like a messy chart. That's just messy. Could be a big head and shoulders if it, like this, kind of, if it does it, something like that. Pull that one on up, yeah. Could do a head and shoulders like that, but I don't know. It looks really messy. I'm not going to mess with it until it actually does something. So, did get hit. Looks like it got hit on, I mean, earnings were back here a few days ago. So nothing, I don't know. Don't know the news, not looking it up. I mean, we can pressure on railroads, but that was 3 days ago. So nothing new this morning. I don't know. Be careful. That chart just looks dangerous. It tells you it's dangerous with all this choppy bull crap. So that one's getting smacked. Wow. Whew. You know, watch out for pharmaceuticals, biotechs, medical technology, whatever. They don't always play with the patterns. As you can see, this one popped up and came back down, bouncing off here, and probably going to push to a lower low. AXSM. Wow. I had charted this one before, and it looks ideal if it pushes down here into this 54 area, when it looks like on the way down, gapping down a little bit to 60 this morning. Cat making a little bit of gap down. I mean, their earnings were a while back, a few days back, and probably gonna retest the bottom of this breakout zone, like consolidated right here below it, below this line. Came above it, retested, pulled up away, couldn't get out, push back down, retest it once more, and then potentially push out. So still bullish on CAT, but it's going to retrace a little more, it looks like. SCLX, big hit down. This looks like a hot mess of a chart that I'm probably not going to be able to tell much about. Looks like another pharmaceutical, just chopping around there. OKTA, OKTA, find a resistance at the roadmap line and pulling back. May pull back. Since that was just kind of like one big pop, it may go back and try to fill this gap right there. Didn't fill the gap to the, like, it's got a lot of gaps to fill. It's got that gap. It's got that gap. So if it can hold the bottom here, it may push on up to try to fill that gap, but watch for it to come down and fill this gap if you're watching this one. CETX, Simtrex, I don't know. Getting talked about on StockTwits. CEMEX, let's see, CEMEX, just CX. That one reporting, should have reported earnings today. Doesn't look like it came up. Doesn't look like, yeah, should have reported earnings today, but doesn't look like it came in. So you're getting hit just a little bit. Based on the prior moves, I've got a target up here around 6 for it to, it may do another one of these pullbacks and then extend out. So somewhere up here around 620, 630. Invax looking like, wow, just dead. Biotech. Biotechs are having a hard time. I mean, like I keep talking about, money is getting expensive. So biotechs are having a hard time getting financing to continue their operations if they don't make money, which you can see losing tons of money on Novavax, whatever. PRVB, small little pop here, pre-market. Nothing super interesting. I mean, that's another pharmaceutical. Ironwood Pharmaceuticals, nice pop on it. Has resistance above us. And then Truist Financial here was getting talked about. I'm not sure why. Let's see if I can pull up any of the, yeah, no news this morning hitting the sheets here. So I don't know what they're talking about on StockTwits, but it was making the hot sheets on StockTwits. Looks like we got to open in about 30 seconds or 40 seconds here. So that's what's moving today so far, what's getting talked about. We've got the S5FI, probably going to pull back just a little more if we get that dip down on ES I was talking about, and S&P. You could see that S5FI pull back into the 50% zone. 50% of the stocks above their 50-day moving average. That's what S5FI is. All right. Well, that's the show for the morning, guys and gals. We'll be back with you again tomorrow after the CPI print at 8:30 in the morning Eastern. I'll go live about 9:15 as usual, and then we'll have 30 minutes of awesome tomorrow evening too. So I'll see you around. Have a great